Premier Doug Ford isn't committing to keeping all-day kindergarten beyond the next school year, echoing what his education minister said yesterday. The media hasn't had a chance to ask Doug Ford any questions for 43 days, in part because of the holidays, until today. So reporters had a lot of questions on a variety of issues, but let's start with the uncertain future of all-day kindergarten.
I can tell you that there's going to be all-day kindergarten next year, and we'll sit down and you'll hear from us in the future.
All-day kindergarten started by the Liberal government under Dalton McGuinty 8 years ago. It costs $1.5 billion a year and is now under the Ford government's microscope. What that means is unclear.
Because I think a lot of parents with young children are absolutely panicking. Can you give us some guidelines and parameters on what exactly might be on the table to consider? Is it all out cancelling it? I mean, I know it's $1.5 billion a year. Are you looking at ways to make it perhaps less expensive? What are the things that are being considered that are on the table?
Once we sit down and we come up with a solution, you'll be the first to know. Cynthia, we want to sit down with our minister and review everything. It's a large portfolio. Keep in mind, we were left with a $15 billion deficit that we're trying to dig out of. We're going to be responsible when we reduce the deficit. We are not going to be reckless. If it takes us a few extra years, so be it.
Wait a minute. During his campaign, Doug Ford promised to balance the books by the 4th year of his mandate. Is this a hint that won't happen? Listen again.
If it takes us a few extra years, so be it.
The Premier was also asked if he would abide by the Integrity Commissioner's findings into whether there was political interference in the controversial appointment of his friend, Superintendent Ron Taverner, as OPP Commissioner. He didn't quite answer.
I have a great deal of respect for him, and I'll be sitting down and listening to what he has to say.
As for Hazel McCallion, Doug Ford confirmed the former Mississauga mayor, who's about to turn 98 on Valentine's Day, will not take the $150,000 salary offered to her for an advisory position examining housing supply.
I love Hazel, and she said, Doug, I sit on 8 boards. I will help you any way I can, but I'm not taking a salary. And I said, that's great. Excellent. So that's your answer.
Well, something we learned just a few minutes ago. Hazel McCallion now says she won't be working for the province, saying in a statement she has too many other commitments to public causes, but adding that she's happy to help any way she can.